All right, guys, let's dive on into day 3 of chapter 4. And we're going to start this off with what would normally be review, but I've kind of left out of the other lessons, so we're going to start it off. So to start off, I want you guys to think, what are the 4 main uses for websites? Normally, I've already covered this by now, but I want to think, what websites are prominent and why do we use them? So if you think about websites, one of the top ones for social media would probably be Facebook or Meta, whatever you want to call it now. And we primarily use that for what? Communicating with others. All right, that's your first one. Now, if you're like me, you might get stuck on Facebook Marketplace a lot of the time. And that's another one of the big main uses, and that is commerce, the buying and selling of goods online. Now, some of you get stuck on TikToks or Reels, Facebook Reels, whatever you want to call it, and that is for entertainment. So far, we've talked about 3 of them, and another one, kind of Facebook hits them all, is keep up with each other or information, what's going on. So the 4 main uses for websites, you have communication, talking with one another, commerce, buying and selling goods, entertainment, and last but not least, information. All right, those are the 4 main uses for websites. Now, let's define a website. What is a website? Once again, a website can be thought of like a book. It is a collection of interlinked web pages on the World Wide Web, a bunch of individual pages put together that are linked together. And we're going to talk about that hierarchy a little bit later today. Now, what is an individual web page? That is a hypertext document. Remember, we use HTML to create these, but a hypertext document on the World Wide Web. What is HTML and what does it stand for? Remember, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is the language used to create website. What about website content? Website content is all the raw images, text, and other elements included on a web page. All right. Website structure is the different ways that, or the structure is how a website is set up, how different pieces or different pages are connected with one another. And just checking here, I did skip one of the questions on your worksheet if you're following along and completing that as I go. And true or false, websites can be used as a form of self-expression. That one's definitely true, right? A lot of people use blogs or other different things there to express themselves. All right, so we answered a lot of this. So now what you guys are going to do, you could use some of these websites below, and generally we would do this in class, so just follow along, and we're going to look at your activity for today. So you guys are going to go, generally I like to use one of these. I'm going to use Academy, no, actually I'm going to use Bass Pro as an example, and this is one of the activities you guys will do. So your activity slides are separate from your worksheet today. All right, but I want to show you how a website hierarchy works. So I'll use Bass Pro, so you guys can use one of these other websites that I just showed you. And you're going to fill out a website hierarchy like this. So if we were to look, all right, get out of this. All right, I'm going to go to Bass Pro's website. So if I go to Bass Pro, pull this up, we're going to look at the website hierarchy. If I'm looking at your slides, we have the same thing there, okay? So website hierarchy. So to begin with, this is our home page. So that is our top one here. Now, if we were to go back and forth and I'm filling it out, page 1, I could fill out any of these. I'll show you one that's already completed, and I'll do a separate one. So we got our home page, and if you look, I've got fishing, boating, shooting, hunting, all of those. That's how these come in here. Now, if I were to go under fishing, I've got all of these other sub pages. So I could click on just rod and reels or just lures or whatever, and then that would be the one topic. So let's go fishing. I want to go fishing reels. Okay, so rod and reel combos. There we go. If I click that, these are all of my options. And it even breaks down. So each and every one of these, click to go even further is another layer. All right, and that is another one. So if you look, this is its own web page, right? Because it's got its own amount, it's got its own about feature. That's how you would create that. So I'm going to go through this just as you were. So I'm going to go back to my home page. All right, so I'm going to go back. Man, they like to pop up that ad. I'm going to click this. Generally, will take their logo, will take you back. And so if I were to do this, like you guys from scrap, I'm going to say, all right, I've got my home page. That's where everything is housed at. And then I'm going to say outdoor rec would be one. So I'm going to just choose and type in. So for this, you guys can just type in. So we got outdoor rec. we can do men, and I'll do camping. And those would be 3 of my subpages, right? So now if I wanted to go into a further subpage, all I have to do for look at this, I'm going to look camping, and I'm going to say tents and sleeping gear, right? Those would be my subpages that it breaks down into even further. So pretty easy way to break down. And to continue further, men, you're going to have footwear. You also have pants and shorts. You guys get the point, right? And so that would be an example of what you have to do. Really simple, really easy, just an idea of how you can understand it breaks down and kind of gets into their subcategories or their subpages. So that is what you guys are doing for your first assignment. That's how you would complete this one here that you have in there, all right? And then your second one, this is how you guys are going to kind of finish things off. Generally, we have another in-class activity we're going to skip through today. Based on your interest, you guys are going to do a website hierarchy. Okay, so you guys, for your test for this chapter, you guys are actually going to be creating your own website. I believe I've showed you guys some examples, or if I haven't, I'm going to show you some in just a second. All right, you guys are going to create your own website. So you're going to create your hierarchy. So you're going to show your home page, all right, and give me 3 bullet points that you'll include on that specific page. Over here, you'll type in your website topic, and then 3 things you can talk about or include on that page is how you're going to break that down. So your example will look like this. Okay, so your sketch you will create in class as well. This you'll have to take a picture of and submit. But your website sketch should include your 3 subpages, kind of how you plan to design that home page, and how you plan to set it up. Okay, so some examples in the past. These are some I looked at. So I had a student last year. Their family has a farm. So I don't have an example of her sketch, or I would show you that as well. Generally, I show you that in class. But you can see here, all right, this is how it looks at. So if you were to look at this for her sketch, you would have homepage, about us, mobile orders to pick up, address, kind of break down from there. Now, I'll go ahead and give you guys a heads up for this assignment for your website. What you guys will have to do, you'll notice every page, all right, you only have to have a total of 4 pages, your home page plus 3 additional subpages, right? You don't have to break down and do products and stuff like this, but each little section has to have a minimum of 2 pictures and 100 words. So if you look here, she did the home page as a kind of overview, then it had an about us page, which also had 100 words and 2 pictures. That is your only requirement. Now, go ahead and show you guys a couple examples, and you guys can also click through these as you do yours and go through these slides on your own. If you're passionate about sport, you could do it about that specific sport. Okay, so there you go. I'll show you guys different things as we get further into this. But right now, you have to just worry about designing that hierarchy and doing your initial sketch. All right, so make sure you go in here, complete this section, do that, and do your sketch, and you'll have to turn in your sketch at a later time, and I'll get over how to do that for you. All right, that is what you guys have for today. Email me if you have any questions.